Good morning from Delmarva.
Can I sleep this?
Yeah, it's still working.
I'm just gonna move that weight there and then I'm gonna put it back, okay, Daddy?
Okay, buddy.
So here is an old shank. And as you can see, this tip down here is really thin, very worn, but this other side is not. It's still got a lot of life left in it. It was sitting on this shank like this. And when you get done with them, see how it has a curve in it. When you get done with them on one side, you can flip it over and reuse it. So you get dual use out of them. So that's what we need, is just the bolts to put that back in. And to give you an idea, the difference in thickness, that is how thick this used to be. And you see, I mean, that acres upon acres just really wears these down, especially in a harder ground.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy. You helping Daddy out?
Yeah.
Thank you. Good morning. I've got my camera bag, got my lunch box, I got a big blue tractor. Let's go have some fun. Before we start this thing up for the day, we'll check the oil, make sure the dinosaurs haven't coalesced and jumped out of the tractor. Nope, dinosaurs are all still there. So check it out, our seed salesman stopped by the other day, dropped off our seed corn. I'm branded, gave us some t-shirts. It's gonna be a great day. I'm wearing free clothing. Well, all right, so the clothing's not free. I paid, oh, I forget what my seed bill was last year, but let's just say I paid enough for this shirt. It was the least they could do. Hear that, Jim? We'll let that warm up. Yesterday I noticed something just chisel plowing around the house here that I wanted to address. I've got to get some zip ties. Some of the hydraulic hoses are hanging on that chisel plow a little bit lower than I'd like. Not dragging, but they're close, and I don't like that. So just gonna take some zip ties and zip them up out of the way. Now's a good time to get out and make sure we still got all the pieces to the chisel plow here. Well, the point shined up nicely. Yep, everything's still there. Our hose is staying in place. So one of the things you've heard me talk about with this tractor is it has the ability to auto steer. Now, it does not mean that I literally drive into the field, hit a button, and sit back and it does the entire field for me. That's not quite how it works. So the way it works is basically I have to drive a path and I can record it. And I input how wide the implement is, and then the computer knows how to duplicate that path across the entire field, so that way we cover the field. And it will actually steer the tractor. But it's not as automated as one might think. Yeah, it's not like you could just come into the field, hit a button, and off you go. See what I'll show you. So right now, we're lining up for our path. I'm gonna hit the button, and it steered itself. But I told it where to go previously. See all these lines? I recorded the line that's way over here, you can't see it, but that first pass I recorded. And it knows how wide the implement is right here. I've set it, we're using the chisel plow, and I could go to a place that, you know, you put in the information for the chisel plow and its width. And with that information tied into the GPS and the computer in the tractor, it calculates the next pass. And it just keeps duplicating that pass all the way across the field. So that's how I'm able to skip so far over and still come back and fill in the blanks and not overlap. If you look, you know, our pass is right there, and as you follow it back, our outermost shank, which is that back one, that outermost shank is riding about 6 inches to 8 inches this side of that last pass. And it'll do that all the way across the field. I mean, I got important things to do like YouTube and Facebook and take naps. Okay, you don't want to take a nap, but people have done it. Probably once or twice a year, you hear a story on the news or see it on Facebook where somebody fell asleep with their auto steer on and went right across the county highway or right into the woods. Most of the time we laugh about it, but it's very dangerous. People can die and have died from running into power lines or running into the woods, running into giant ditches. So you do still have to stay vigilant. Actually, when I get really, really tired out here, I tend not to use it. But honestly, that hasn't been a problem for us in a long time, because with this bigger equipment, we don't really have to run crazy hours anymore like we used to. Before we got this big tractor and the big planter and all of this big equipment, it would take us, you know, we'd be out here day after day till late at night trying to get done. We don't have a lot of ground compared to the size of the equipment we have. So we can get done in a timely manner now without really going crazy, as long as the weather cooperates, which it hasn't been cooperating, but we're still not overdue yet. So I wasn't going to chisel plow much this year until I came out and just did around my house a little bit and saw just how hard the ground really was. And I think that's because of the amount of rain we've had. You know, a good soaking rain will soften the soil, but when you have downpour after downpour of 10 inches of rain or more, it can take its toll on packing the soil, and that's kind of what we're facing. Now this field here isn't too bad. The one I was just in was, and some of that might have to do with the composition of the soil. There might be more clays in that soil over there, but this is kind of mellow. There's still some chunks getting pulled up, but it's not bad. And this chisel plow operates at about 10 inches deep is how I have it set. So it is about 4 to 6 inches below where that Landau disc will go. And it's nice to be able to break up this hard pan layer that's down there, because what it does is it allows the corn roots to shoot deeper and spread out easier. The more root that the corn can put out, the more available nutrients there is for the corn to utilize. So did I have to absolutely chisel plow this field? No, but corn prices are up. It's easily going to be offset in fuel this year because the corn prices are so high. Let's say doing this nets me 1 more bushel per acre. Okay, right now corn prices are in that $5.50 range, $6 range, somewhere in there. Well, that more than pays for fuel. Averaged all out, it pays for the points on the chisel plow, and I have a healthier plant, which means it's going to survive drought better because it's going to be able to put those roots deeper and get the available moisture that's deep. It's going to stand better because it has a better tap root and a much better root mat to help support it if we have a high wind event, especially in our falls when we get tropical storms and hurricanes up the coast. You know, that will all add to a healthier plant. Even if it didn't give me 1 more bushel, I still have a healthier base for my plant, and it could potentially lead to being a boost in yield if we have an event that was going to knock the corn down. Yeah. But anyway, that's why we chisel plow. Not a lot of people do it anymore. You know, a lot of people have switched over to pure no-till, and it works for them. We tried it. It didn't work for us, and we could definitely see a yield improvement doing this, and we saw better drought tolerance doing this. Again, it has to do with the roots being able to get to the available moisture down below. Do we do it every year? We used to. We didn't do it the last couple years, other than in a few spots where we drove the trucks out in the field. This field hasn't been chisel plowed in 3 years. It's nice to put it in a rotation, I believe. It works for us. We like doing it. I think a lot of people have gone away from doing this because it is a little more time consuming, because it does take a lot of horsepower to pull a narrower implement. And farmers have gotten so big that they just don't have the manpower or the time to cover all the acres like they used to. I think it's a mix of everything. Is it better or worse for the soil? Honestly, I think it's personal preference. I have read many papers on the benefits of no-till, and I agree, there are benefits to no-till. And then I've read papers on the benefits to conventional tillage. It comes down to personal preference and whichever paper you believe. I believe all of them. I believe there's benefits and there's also downsides to doing either one. So for those of you that are farmers, how often does it happen to you that on the last pass of every field, it leaves you on the wrong side of the field, and you've got to travel all the way back to get to the next field, even though there's no need to travel back over it? You would think it'd be a 50-50 shot, but I feel like it happens in every field I'm in. Oh well, just a little more time in the tractor seat. I swear, people just leave things anywhere. I guess I gotta move this thing. Purrs like a kitten. There's never a dull moment on a farm. I just showed you the dozer. By the way, that was one of the surprises. We bought that dozer. It's ours. We bought it to clear up that area and a couple others. But Eugene's been back on the farm working on the planter, and now we've got an issue with the planter, so I gotta go help him figure out what's going on, and she won't lift her row markers up. So, say hi, majestic creature.
Hi. Major screw-ups here.
That's part of farming. Well, I picked up a rider.
Hello.
And we are in the last field of this farm. However, we are in the worst field. I don't know if the camera's picking up the size of these ruts that the combine left, but they're about 1.5 feet, in some places almost 2 feet deep. And we're getting across it. It's a little bumpy, but I've kind of pre-ripped some of the worst spots to make it so we can go over it, and then we'll go over it again with a little more speed to throw a little bit more dirt and help fill those ruts in, but it's doing a decent job really after the first pass. But if I don't do this now, I'll pay for it later when I have to run those discs and run them at a lot higher speed. It'll bounce me right out of this tractor. Well, we're going to go along this ditch line over here again, and it is a soupy, sloppy mess. You like that, huh? But if I was pulling anything else, I wouldn't be able to do this. But because this implement is relatively light and I can lift it pretty high, I'm able to kind of go through this mess.
Why did you make it so bumpy?
Well, for the fun of it.
I knew it was you the whole time. I know, I'm just joking. So, Daddy, if I like clean your whole tractor off, would I get $1?
If you clean this whole tractor off, I'd probably give you $2.
I need to do it today. Okay, Daddy?
Okay. Well, right here is the end of the field. That's all we have left to do. The whole field's done. And the GoPro died. I'm walking in mud. We're not stuck. Kind of. Our cylinder broke again. So I'm on my phone, but our cylinder snapped right off again. So I'm done playing with it. I'm getting a new cylinder. Obviously I can't weld it. But now we gotta figure out a way to get it working. All right, I repositioned the cylinder just to see if we can lift it out of the ground. I got my son in there. So go ahead. He's gonna slowly lift up on this, see if it stays. So one of the good things about being broke down is I get to spend a little time with little man here and eat our beef jerky. He's eating his wasabi nuts.
Hello?
And we're waiting on Eugene to bring us. I got another set of chisel plows just like this, but a little bit not quite as wide. It has the exact same cylinder on it. So he's going to rob the cylinder off of that one. We're going to put it on this one and get back to work. But you can see it is quite sloppy back there. Soupy, sloppy, muddy, mucky, overwatered, not without hydration, properly hydrated, overhydrated, drought, not drought. Yeah, it's a little wet out here, a little moist, as it were. Our day got cut a little bit short. It was a little too wet at that next field after we got the chisel plow fixed with the new cylinder on it. Came home, did a couple little odd jobs here and there, had some dinner, got old baby Blue Eyes with me. Say hi, baby Blue Eyes. Hi, who's that? Yeah, is that you? Say hi, YouTube. He's camera shy. Look who followed us in. If you recall, the very first episode, I mentioned we got rid of a kitty cat for tearing stuff up. Well, I don't know if somebody saw that and dropped this cat off, or this cat just happened to find its way to our farm one day, but she's been hanging around. We had her fixed, and she's primarily an outdoor cat. Every now and then she finds her way in, as you can see. Very friendly though. And she doesn't tear stuff up, which is cool. I like that. As you can see, the tractor is definitely muddy. I've got to do a little bit of cleaning. It's just a mess. That's the only way to put it. It's a mess. You want to say it? You want to say it? You want to say like, subscribe, and share? Can you do? Okay, guys, it's time. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Okay. Well, with that, thank you all for watching, and goodbye from Delmara, Shorebilly farmer, and little Shorebilly. Little, tiny Billy. I don't know. We don't have a name for this one yet. Anyway, goodbye from Delmarva. Thank you all for watching. Shorebilly Farmer, out.
It's so bumpy. Daddy's drink is sloshing around.
Yeah. Yeah, my drink is sloshing around. Not the adult drink, but I'll probably have one of those tonight. I'm sure my neck and back will appreciate it after bouncing around.